Hello and welcome to yet another problem, another graph problem in this series. Let us look at the problem statement. There are n cities and m flight connections. Our task is to design a round trip that begins in a city, any city, goes through one or more cities and finally return to the starting city. Every city on the route has to be distinct. All connections are one-way connections from one city to another. So essentially what is asking us to do is retrieve the cycle, any cycle in a directed graph. Okay, why directed? Because they are dealing with one-way flights. It's not a road, it's a flight. Okay, so let's look at the sample test case. We have vertex number 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 3 there is a connection. 2 and 1 there is a connection. 2 and 4 there is a connection. 3 to 2 there is another connection, and 3 to 4 there is a connection. So what is the cycle? We have a cycle from 2 to 1, and then from 1 to 3, and then 3 back to 2. 2 to 1, 1 to 3 and 3 back to 2, and there are 4, and the length of the cycle is 4. 1, 2, 3 and then back to 1, 2 again, so it's 4. So let us see if we can evolve a strategy to solve this problem. What are the prerequisites? The prerequisites to solve this problem are: number 1, DFS. Number 2, you should have solved the round trip 1 problem. It was in an earlier video. That detects cycle in an undirected graph. I am going to use that problem to illustrate why a directed graph is a bit different. Okay, not necessarily complicated but different. It just requires a specific observation. So to do a quick recap, how did we retrieve for the undirected? We did a DFS, marking nodes as visited and recording the parent. So we start with 1, so its parent will be -1, and we mark it as visited. Okay, now let us look at its children. Does it have any unvisited neighbor? Yes, it has an unvisited neighbor, which is 2. So we'll visit it and we'll mark its parent as 1 because we came here from 1. Now let us recurse our way back because 2 has no children. So 1, does it have any other child? Yes, it has 3. So we'll recurse into 3, mark it as visited, and its parent would be 1. Now, does 3 have any more children? Yes, it has a child which is 4. We walk into 4, we mark it as visited, and we record the parent as 3. Okay. Now 4, does it have any other unvisited neighbor? It has an unvisited neighbor which is 5. 5 is also marked as visited. Now what is the parent of 5? The parent of 5 is 4 because we walked in from 4. Does 5 have any child which is visited, unvisited, whatever? Yes, 5 has a child. The child is 1. Right? Is 1 visited previously? Yes, it is visited previously. Is it the parent? No, it's not the parent. The parent is 4. That means there is a cycle starting from 1 and ending at 5. There's a cycle starting from 1 and ending at 5. It worked very well for our undirected graph. Go ahead and check out the video if you haven't watched it, please. So now we will check if this strategy works for a digraph. Let's do the same thing. 1, we visit 1, mark its parent as -1. We visit 2, mark its parent as 1. We trace back to 1 again. From 1 we visit 3, mark its parent as 1. From 3 we visit 4, mark its parent as 3. Does 4 have any children? No. So we'll recurse back. From 1, we look at its children that are unvisited, 5. We visit it, mark its parent as 1. From 5, we know that we can visit 4. Okay. So is 4 the parent of 5? Parent of 5 is 1. 4 is not the parent of 5. So in other words, we can say that there is a cycle from 4 to 5. Can we do that? No, we can't do that. If you pay very close attention to this digraph, there is a route from 1 to 4 and there is another route from 1 to 4. Both routes start from 1 and end up at 4. There is no cycle. For a cycle, there should have been a path back from 4 to 1, which is not the case. So in other words, this strategy will not work for a digraph. I hope that is clear. So we need a better strategy. Since this strategy won't work, we'll need a better strategy. Rather, we need a better definition of a cycle. From a DFS perspective, we can define a cycle as we are walking into a location and that location was a source to our present location. Okay, this might seem very complicated. So let me illustrate. So we start from 11. From 11, we walked into 12. From 12, we walk into 13. From 13, we walk into 14. And from 14, we are walking back into 12. What was our source chain to 14? The source chain to 14 was 11, 12, 13. So we are walking back into our source chain. We are walking back into our source chain. That means there's a cycle. In this case, if you observe, our source chains were as follows. At 5, there is no question of walking back into the source chain. So there is no cycle. Okay. So how do we implement this algorithmically? Algorithmically, let's understand this concept called the recursion stack. What does this mean? Whenever we recurse in, what is the meaning of recursing in? So at 11, from 11 we'll recurse into 12. Okay. So whenever we are recursing, we'll push the vertex ID into stack. That means 12 should be pushed into stack. We track the vertex as present in our stack. And we use a Boolean array. Similarly, when we recurse out, we do a pop operation and we untrack. Let me demonstrate, it will be more clear at that point. So okay, let's do a DFS and let's use this strategy. It's a 3-step strategy. So I'll start my DFS at 1. When I'm doing my DFS at 1 is marked as visited. Okay. Number 2, 1 is pushed into the recursion stack. See, 1 is pushed into the recursion stack. Number 3, I'm noting down this fact. So how do I note down? I'm going to put a second tick mark. So 1 is now marked as present in our stack. 1 is marked as present in our stack. Let's go ahead. Similarly for 2, we visit it, we push it in the stack and it is marked as present in our stack. Similarly for 4, we visit it, we mark it as present in our stack and we push it in our stack. Does 4 have any more children? No. So what is the second aspect of our algorithm say? We pop and we untrack. So we pop 4, we untrack 4. Same for 2. Does it have any unvisited child? No. So we pop 2 and we untrack 2. Does 1 have any unvisited child? Yes. So repeat the operation. Into 1, into the stack, you push 3. Before that, you mark it as visited. You push 3 and the second tick mark is for, of course, it is present in our stack. At this point, we are looking at the next child, which is 4. Is 4 visited? Yes, it is visited. The first tick mark is present. Is 4 in our recursion stack? Look at our recursion stack. Is 4 in this stack? Our stack contains only 3 and 1. We don't even have to look at this stack. Remember, we are doing the second tick mark to track the same. So 4 is not being tracked as present. We untracked it. So we know that there is no cycle. Now I'll clear this mess. As you can see, there are 2 paths from 1 to 4. There is no cycle. Now, will it work if there is a cycle? Let us see. 1 marked as visited, pushed into the stack, marked as present in the stack. Then 2 is the child. 2 pushed into the stack, marked as pushed into the stack. Does 2 have any child? No. Unmark it. Pop it. So you are left with 1. Does 1 have any unvisited child? Yes. 3. Mark it as visited, mark it as present in the stack, and of course push it into the stack. Does 3 have any unvisited child? Yes, there is 4. Mark it as visited, mark it as present in a stack, and push it into the stack. Does 4 have any unvisited child? Yes, 5. Mark it as visited, mark it as present in a stack, push it into a stack. Does 5 have any child? It has 3. Is it visited? Yes. Is it present in our stack? Yes. So in this case, we can see 3 is already present in our stack. So I'll spoil this for you. You push 3 again in the stack, and that section of the stack between this 3 and this 3, it is your cycle. From this 3 to this 3, you simply reverse it. So 3 leading to 4, leading to 5, leading to 3. 3 leading to 4 to 5 to 3. You have to get that into a vector, you have to reverse it, and then you will get your answer. Okay, now let's quickly implement it. For an input legend, number of vertices, number of edges, and a graph adjacency list. We have a visited array to mark as visited. We have a recursion stack to mark as. What is the purpose of this? To mark as present in stack. And we have an actual stack. Okay. Okay, there is one more important concept. We are supposed to check for all connected components. Why? Consider this graph. So, in this graph, there is a cycle 3, 4, 5. But if we start DFS from here, there is no cycle here. So, in other words, for each and every connected component, you are supposed to check presence of a cycle. How do you do that? We use DFS. So let's walk through this DFS and things will be more clear. This DFS function returns a Boolean object and it takes the input argument as a vertex number. So let's start. So we start the DFS from 1. So how do we start? We mark 1 as visited. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 1 is visited. So this becomes true. Okay. Now 1 is pushed into the stack. 1 is pushed into the stack. And the RS flag for 1 is also set to true. RS flag for 1, it's also set to true. Okay. Now we reach this line of code. For each child of 1, if the child is not visited, 2 is not visited. So we are starting with 2, the next child would be 3. Is 2 visited? No, it's not visited. So do a DFS and tell me what it returns. What does this line say? Do a DFS and tell me what returns. So let's do a DFS of 2. So we go back to this function because we called it just now with u is equal to 2. Mark 2 as visited. Okay. 2 is also marked as visited. Push 2 into the recursion stack. Great. We'll push 2 into the recursion stack. Set the RS flag also to be true for 2. Okay. 2 marked in RS flag as true. For each child of 2, wait, 2 has no children. So this whole part, it will be skipped because 2 has no children. Pop 2 out of the stack. Okay, 2 is popped out of the stack. Mark the flag as false. Okay, mark the flag as false. 2 is marked as false. Return false. This guy returns false. So if DFS of 2, what is DFS of 2? It is false. We just returned false. So in other words, this particular code, it won't run. Return true, it won't run. The next question. If RS flag of V, what is V here? V here is 2. V here is equal to 2. What is 2? 2 is marked as false. 2 is marked as false already. So this will never happen. This line of code is never invoked. So at this point, we will again loop back. For auto V, the next child of U, what is the next child of 1? What is the next child of 1? The next child of 1 is 3. Have we visited 3? No, we haven't visited 3. So this part of the code will run. So if DFS of 3, what does that mean? Do a DFS on 3 and tell me what is returned. Is it returning true or is it returning false? So what is the DFS of 3? For DFS of 3, 3 is marked as true. RS flag for 3 is also set as true. This is false, by the way. Okay. RS flag of 3 is set as true and 3 is pushed into the stack. I'm pushing 3 into the stack. Now, for each child of 3, does 3 have any children? Yes, 3 has a child. 3 has a child which is 4. Okay. Is 4 visited? No, it's not visited. So, do a DFS of 4 and tell me what is happening. Do a DFS of 4 and tell me what is happening. Let's do a DFS of 4. 4 can be marked as visited. 4 is pushed into our stack. The flag for 4 is said to be true. Okay. For each child of 4, does 4 have any children? Yes, it has one child. What is the child of 4? 1. If 1 is not visited, but wait, 1 is visited. 1 is marked as visited. So we won't visit 1. So this entire code, it won't run for this particular iteration. If RS flag of 1 is true, is RS flag of 1 true? Yes, it is true. Why is it true? Because it is present in our stack. Okay, so this code will now run. Recursion stack dot push 1 r stack push 1. So 1 is pushed into the stack. Return true. So now 4 will return true. So if DFS of 4, 4 is returning true. So what is happening? When this guy says true, if DFS of 4 is true, it will also return true. So 3 will also return true and 1 will also return true. So finally our first DFS call, it will return true. Now see the previous code. If something is not visited, do a DFS. If DFS of u is equal to true, you break. Why do you break? Because you have a cycle. You have already detected a cycle. So you don't need to explore more. Okay? So, okay. How do you retrieve the cycle? So let us just copy the stack 1, 4, 3, 1. 1, 4, 3 and 1. What does this code tell you? And as long as the stack is not empty and as long as you don't capture the same element again, keep capturing all of these elements of the stack into a vector. So 1 is captured into the vector, then 4, then 3, then 1. Then let's reverse the vector. When you reverse the vector, it is 1, 3, 4 and 1. And then your answer is 1, 3, 4 and 1. 1, 3, 4 and 1. I hope it makes sense. I guess this explanation is a bit messy, but recursion is rather intuitive. So I have to break down the details so that all the aspects are captured. Okay. So now let's go ahead and submit the code and see if we can get accepted. Our code is accepted. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Thank you. Have a great day.